Good morning, everybody. So it's February 11th, and yeah, this is the daily recap for yesterday. I didn't trade the New York session, as you know. I went and decided to spend some quality time with my family after taking a beastly trade in the London session. So yeah, let's get straight into it, and let's break down the day. Let's see what we had. So we started. As always, let's start on the hourly, and you can see that we were, started the day in this area, and I wanted to see us show, real direction before taking an entry. But we did have this at the start. So this is when London opens. Really, for me, it's around 3. So times I look at 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. during the London session. And so around sort of 3 a.m., what are we starting to get? We're getting this build up of consolidation up around forming equal highs, right? So what am I looking for? I'm looking for balanced price range. I'm looking for tests of balanced price range to see if it wants to break it before further continuation. So what we actually get is this consolidation which forms here, right? And then it breaks. And you can see that balanced price is formed in this section here, right? And once it's been tested, it should no longer, right? It should no longer test it again, right? And so here we can see that the balanced price is tested and then fails, and this is off 50% of this balanced price range. So what we can do is then use that as an implied range, and we can extend that out, right? So this can give you potential targets for future. Now, what I'm looking for, I'm actually looking for the price to break, and I'm looking for it to show signs that it's showing signs of weakness, right? So what do we get here? We get price runs up into, this is now all balanced price, okay, and rejects. It comes up again and forms the new balanced price range. So this, now, can you see how it paints down, paints up? This is now your new balanced price, okay? So price should no longer go above this if it's to remain bearish. So this is where you can start framing low risk entries to go short, right? So we had this bearish order block which is formed, and we can look at that. We can look at medium threshold of that order block, and we also have the protection of the balanced price range. So, and what do we like? We like to see balanced price tested once. So if we start breaking this down, we have this balanced price range. We can throw a fib across it, right? Now we want to see the balanced price tested at least once. For me personally, so price breaks away, comes back, tests that balanced price range, doesn't break through, fails, comes back again, and what's it testing? The order block. So now the order block is your entry. Medium threshold of the order block, your stop's just above. What are you targeting? You can take this implied range as your guide, right? You can take it as your guide. So this is 1 times implied range. This line is 2 times implied range. This is 3 times implied range, right? I personally like to look to start trimming my trades at 1 times implied range and 2 times implied range. And then I leave a runner for the third, right? But within that, I'm looking for potential targets. So what are we looking at as a potential target? Now, if we drop back onto the hourly, right? The hourly, we had this long displacement leg here, but at the bottom, we had this rejection block. And as we know, consequential encroachment of a rejection block is a PD array. And what did price decide to run to? 61. So 60 was the sort of the mark that we were looking for as a place to start, peeling off trades. Now, I didn't take this trade, right? I was looking for. I had a strange morning. I'm prepping to go away with my family and all this sort of stuff. So I was just watching price and looking for an entry. But price is showing true direction. So now we've seen that price is heavy. It's broken out. We've discussed this. We're looking for a second entry to get in short, right? To take our 10, 15 handles. Now this blue line here, this is a breaker block formed back here, way back here, right? This is the breaker block I was telling you guys the other day in my previous video, which was a draw. Now it's been broken through, it acts as resistance, quote unquote, retail support and resistance, right? So not only can I frame the context that we have this breaker block that's been broken through, if I can get back to the chart, it's miles away. Let's do it the quick way. So we can frame that we have this breaker block, and now we're below the breaker block, so that gives me even more confidence that we're going lower, right? And what we're targeting consequential encroachment of the hourly. So I know I've got range left. I know I've got some movement. So this is where I'm looking for a second entry. So I saw price run down here, okay? And so I had my breaker, I had this range, and I had this volume balance that price might want to run up to, and I had this fair value gap, right? So of this displacement leg, if we take this here, right, price is going to want to return into a premium before running the market down, before running it down, right? So when I saw price starting to creep up, I was looking for a safe entry. Now, where was my safe entry? My eyes was drawn to this fair value gap, right? Why? Because just above it, we had balanced price range again. So you can see the paintbrush has gone down, gone up, and this is now balanced priced, right? So we can look at our stop would be above 50% of the balanced price range, which actually matched where the breaker block base was, right? So this blue is the breaker block. So I had double confidence as to why I was protected to go short. and I called it out in live. It was early, so I think only a couple of you heard it. But I entered here and I ran it all the way down, right? So let me just so you know I'm not talking absolute garbage, you know, accountability and everything. This is my trade. So I got in here at 77 and I ran it down to 68, okay? And that's when I decided to, you know, to call today a day, right? So you had the fair value gap within the OTE, you had the balanced price range sat above. This was your safe entry to run it down, right? So price obviously ran through. This then forms into, this candle here then forms into breakers. You expect price to rally back up into that and fail and draw back down. Now that sums up the London session for me. But I just wanted to run through the AM session as well because it's quite interesting. I wasn't around for it, but I've just done my recap of it this morning. So I think it's worthwhile. So all of this is, you know, pretty garbage price action. But where I'm interested is up here. Okay, and this is quite complex. And you know, let me know if you prefer me doing it this way, where I sort of mark it up and draw it out. Whether you prefer my charts to be clean when I do it. You know, if you just let me know in the comments, that'd be really helpful because I'll you know, design my future videos around that. But if we look at this range, if we look at these highs that were formed that I was talking about earlier, what has price just come and purged? It's come and purged that buy side, right? At 10:30, it's come and purged that buy side. So what we're looking for, we're now looking for signs that it may reverse, right? And we actually have exactly the same setup as formed in the pre-market, right? We have this period of consolidation where it goes, you know, back and forth, and it forms a balanced price range within inside it. Now, if we get balanced price range, we are looking to see that tested and fail, right? So again, we have this purge. This candle here is the purge, and then it gets retested here. This candle now becomes my stop, and I'm looking for consequential encroachment of that block, right? If it breaks above that, we're looking bullish, right? But you can see it comes up to it, CE of this, and rejects it. So it's come up, it's pushed through balanced price range, it's run up into this block here, hit consequential encroachment of it wick and failed, right? That's your first indication that price is heading down or it's bearish, right? We then take this range and we look at the equilibrium point, 50%, right? And we're looking for price to reject off that. What is also giving us confidence is that we have this balanced price range. So you can see here we have this low, this high, which is completely balanced perfectly. Balanced price range, right? So that would be your reason to run short. Same premise, right? We now put our fib across that range and we take the implied range bit. So this is 1 times range, this is 2 times range, this is 3 times range, okay? Now, if we're looking at a safe entry, we'd place our entry, once we'd seen BPR tested, at the 50% of the range that's created, right? And that's where our entry would go. And our stop would be above these highs, right? Above consequential encroachment of that candle. We wouldn't want to see it go above this. If you're really wanting to keep your stops tight, you'd put it just above CE of the balanced price range, right? You'd put it just above CE of the balanced price range, yeah? So that would be even a tighter stop. You can see this is like an 11 to 1 or 12 to 1 R, right? It's huge. So what would we be targeting? We then flip around. It's like tag, right? So once the buy side has been purged, where are we likely to run? We're likely to run into a discount of this price leg. Okay, so what are we looking for? We're looking for this price to be rebalanced. And so we throw our fib across it and we're looking for the OTE zone. What's inside the OTE zone? We have this balanced price range, right? We have this balanced price range. Let me just get rid of that. We have this balanced price range and we also have an order block inside it, right? So what is price literally come down and run to a T? Now I know this is benefit of hindsight and it's true, but this is how you'd be framing your context in reality, right? This is what you'd be looking for. You know, when you're looking for where's price likely to run next. You have the order block, you have the balanced price, you have consequential encroachment and mean threshold of both, right? So you're at mean threshold of the order block and you're at consequential encroachment of the balanced price range, right? That is, and it's within inside the OTE, the target entry zone of this price leg, right? So then what does price do? Price then rallies up. And this is where it gets quite interesting. So this is where you could have taken a second entry. So we know that we have balanced price range here, right? We've mentioned that. This is BPR, right? Balanced price range. See the candle runs down, runs up, within inside a period of consolidation, yeah? Price then forms new balanced price below this balanced price. And this becomes the new ceiling, right? This becomes the new ceiling. And we wouldn't want to see price break above this. So the same premise applies. You could literally take your entry right off this top tick and not want to see it break above 50% of the previous balanced price range, right? It shouldn't break above that. And if you wanted to see it fail first, you could wait for it to retrace back up into the 50% of this range, but it never gets there, right? It basically just fails straight off it. So what would you be targeting? For me, if I'm seeing this period of consolidation form after purging the buy side, which is formed in the pre-market, right? And we're at whole site number 4100, and we're on a Friday, and we see new balance price form a new ceiling, right? We can use this consolidation as implied range of where price is likely to reach to if it's heading down, right? So entry will be up here, and we'll be targeting these different areas as places to run to, right? These different implied ranges. And what does price run to? Runs to perfectly 2 times implied range of that consolidation, right? Now, after lunch, it then does the complete opposite. It then sweeps and runs back up to purge this buy side. But for today, that is literally all I'm going to cover. I'm going to cover that AM session because I think there's quite a lot there to take in, right? But yeah, until next time, trade safe, study up this weekend, and I'll catch you next week. And as always, if you could do me a huge favour, and if you found this video useful, consider hitting the like, and hitting subscribe. It helps the channel out and helps other people view this content. So yeah, until next time, take care.